Hi, welcome back to Into the Cina-Verse. This is part 5 of the Batman series that we are doing. So part 5 titled The Batman, we explained the last scene and a couple of Easter eggs as well. If you haven't seen part 4, please click the link in the description below. The last couple of scenes, more specifically the scene between the
Riddler
Riddler
and the
and
Joker.
the Joker, the
with
unnamed Arkham prisoner,
Exactly.
played by Barry Cogan, however you want to say his name.
the last scene, we think that he might be the Joker. And I feel that they might be pointing the next film towards the Joker now. Sort of, that's a hint. The Joker is going to come back.
I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I love Joker.
Yeah.
He's in my top list of villains. For me, he is Batman's greatest villain. I mentioned in our first ever video who my favorite Batman villain is, and my favorite Batman villain is Riddler. But I'll agree to the point that Batman's best villain
Is Joker.
Just my favorite one is Riddler. Batman has such a great big rogues gallery. Why do we have to stay going back to Joker every time?
It's
Yeah.
fine because I liked seeing the Joker all the time, and I don't mind it. But I think I do wish to see other villains come
As
out.
in, mind that I get it. Every incarnation of Batman has to have a Joker. You can't have a Batman without a Joker. But come on, they have so many villains. Why do you have to stay going back to Joker every time? I really hope that alright, it was an Easter egg, a reference, a small hint of what's to come.
You don't want the next film to be Joker.
I don't want the next film to be Joker. I don't, and maybe not even the third. I want a Batman Joker film.
Most probably like
Of
fourth,
course I
fifth
do.
film if they continue.
If they continue, I don't know, or they somehow bring in Joker. If we keep on going on how Matt Reeves wants to go with certain grounded characters, so we have the Riddler, yeah, he's grounded. Joker, he's grounded. Scarecrow, he's grounded. Like, for example, Matt Reeves said for the sequel he wants Mr. Freeze, but he thinks that it's going to be quite difficult because Mr. Freeze isn't that much of a grounded character.
He
wants
has
to
actual
use.
powers.
Exactly.
So it would be difficult to make it as realistic as
Stick
possible.
and grounded for Robert Pattinson's Batman. If not, use another major Batman villain. Joker isn't the only one. The thing is that I liked that they introduced Joker, so at least we know he's there somewhere. Because I think after you introduce Joker, it's downhill from there. You can still have a high-rated Batman film after Joker, but it's not going to be as high. When I was watching it, immediately I was thinking, who is that? Who is that? And then when he started laughing, I'm like, all right, fine, it's Joker. Obviously, it's Joker. From the limited vision you get of him, you see a little formation, kind of.
Yeah.
His face is, I'm not going to say, it's effed up. His face is disfigured.
It's a bit messed
And
up.
I think that's a reference to a certain Joker, a certain version of Joker where his face is just,
Just
it's
deformed.
it's disfigured. It's disfigured. You see the psychopathic smile, the eyes, obviously the white face and the green hair and everything. But I hope it's just a build-up to the Joker and that he's not going to be the main villain for the next movie for sure. So when I saw them like together on screen, it's like they're forming a sort of partnership. And in that scene, there is also an Easter egg, but we will mention that.
Yeah, what surprised me, he feels that he failed. Whereas I saw that he actually succeeded.
The Joker, yeah, he gives him a riddle. The answer to the riddle, which the Riddler says, is a friend. They're partners. But this is the thing. Why does Joker care about this Batman? Did he have a previous encounter with Batman that we don't know?
It could be that the film Joker could come into this film.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the Joker is a standalone film.
Okay, so you're saying that the Joker that we see in the Batman, he was influenced by someone to become Joker.
In the film, the Joker, you can see that a lot of people were who killed Batman's father, was influenced by the Joker. And there's a sort of theory that that person becomes the actual Joker. Phoenix is sort of the grandfather. The proper Joker is a criminal that was influenced by Phoenix's Joker. So I think it could be that this person had sort of that type of storyline where he got influenced by someone else who was like
Right.
Joker.
Or maybe he's not Joker yet. Maybe he has certain Joker elements, but he hasn't identified himself as the Joker yet. So there are a couple of Easter eggs that we will try and get through. The first Easter egg is an Easter egg for the Court of Owls. This one is actually one that I saw the first time I was watching it. And it's when Batman was talking to Coulson before he exploded into bits. Because Coulson was so afraid of telling him the truth. And Batman was so like mesmerized in thinking like, who is this guy afraid of? And Coulson began telling him, it's much bigger than you think. It's much bigger than you think. You know, it's bigger than Falcone. You know, so when you're talking about the Gotham City's underground, criminal underground, and it's bigger than Falcone, who is there? And it's the Court of Owls. They actually control Gotham, not Falcone. Falcone, yeah, he's been the mayor for 20 years. The Court of Owls have been controlling Gotham City for ages. And I think major fight for this Batman, for Robert Pattinson's Batman, is the Court of Owls, because he'll be investigating more into the depths of Gotham City.
They're going to be the Thanos of Batman.
Yeah, kind of maybe. So moving on, Hush. This was a very clear Easter egg. So when Riddler did that like video presentation for Batman and Gordon, and he was telling the history of the founding families of Gotham City, which were the Arkhams and the Waynes.
Exactly, yeah.
We all know the story. Thomas Wayne went to Falcone to hush Elliot, the reporter, and Falcone ended up killing him. Now, after the name Elliot comes up on the newspaper, the word Hush comes. That's a clear Easter egg to the villain Hush, whose last name is Elliot. He's the son of the reporter. Now, Elliot, Hush, he was actually Bruce Wayne's childhood friend, and he was always jealous of Bruce Wayne. And Elliot, I forget his first name, he becomes this famous plastic surgeon to the point where he did surgery on his own face, so he got Bruce Wayne's face. But then he became Hush, and one of Batman's best ever villains. Harvey Dent, Two-Face, this was maybe a smaller Easter egg. Now, since Riddler killed Coulson, who is the DA...
He's a new DA now.
Who do we know that's a DA? Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent will probably become Gotham City's new DA. Dick Grayson Robin, there was a small Easter egg for this.
I didn't actually...
So I grabbed it...
Clicked.
At the beginning. So when Bruce and Alfred are at the breakfast table, and Alfred is figuring out the cipher, and Bruce asks him, what are you doing, kind of whatever, and Alfred tells him, oh, I was just reminiscing about my days at the circus. What character do we know?
That's
part of the Bat family that was part of the circus. It's Dick Grayson. He was part of the Flying Graysons. His parents died. He was adopted by Bruce Wayne. He became Robin. Robert Pattinson said that he would very much like Robin in the films, but on one condition.
Which was?
That Robin is a kid.
To be honest, it makes sense because Robert Pattinson in this film sort of had a thing with kids.
Yeah.
Every time there was a kid involved, he would stare at him or her and sort of remember.
He feels empathy because he sees himself.
So in that way, I think it would make sense to make this Robin a kid.
There's another Robin Easter egg. Now, this I saw it online. I didn't think of it when I saw it in the film. It's when Batman is fighting against the
gangs in the beginning.
And there was a kid who always seemed hesitant to be part of the gang. Like he didn't want to be there. And he didn't want to hurt anyone. And Batman doesn't hurt him.
No, he lets him go.
He lets him leave, and the kid is scared of Batman. There is this fan theory that he's actually going to be a future Robin. Now, what future Robin, we don't know. For sure, it's not Dick Grayson.
There is a Robin that comes from the streets.
It could be Jason Todd. Bloodhaven is referenced in the last scene where Selina tells Batman that she's going to go live in Bloodhaven. This is a very small reference to Nightwing, because when Robin fights with Batman and takes residence in Bloodhaven,
it could also mean that there will be maybe a Nightwing film
down the road.
Maybe.
So I am vengeance. It's the quote that
vengeance.
Batman says. It was a very cool reference to the animated series, because in the animated series, when Batman was voiced by Kevin Conroy, he says, "I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman." There was another Easter egg, a Zorro Easter egg.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
I did hear Zorro, but I never thought it was an actual Easter
So
egg.
in the scene where Batman kind of arrests Carmine Falcone, and Falcone refers to Batman as Zorro, it was a reference to Batman's origin story. So the night when his parents were murdered. It's always the same story.
They saw
It's the
a
legend
play
of Zorro.
exactly.
There is this fan theory that Carmine Falcone actually knows that Batman at that moment is Bruce Wayne, because he knows his face, he knows his eyes. Because he tells him that when he went to his house, when he got shot, Thomas Wayne operated on him. He said he never forgot his face, he never forgot his eyes. Riddle me this. It's a line that the Joker says, to the Riddler in the
last scene.
In the last scene. That was actually a reference to the first actor who ever portrayed a live-action version of Riddler in the 1966 TV show. He says, "Riddle me this."
Because in the comics, it doesn't actually say "riddle me this."
I don't think it does.
I don't think it does.
But it became so iconic that they started to use it in animated shows and movies and films.
The first actor
Because I think
said
even the
it.
Jim Carrey Riddler says it.
Yes, he does actually.
And the last Easter egg is like a reference to the comic book The Long Halloween. Now, the Batman is based on, I think, around 3 comics. The Long Halloween, Batman Year One, and another one which I forgot. But I grabbed this reference to The Long Halloween from the first couple of scenes.
Okay.
Because the first murder that they find of the mayor is on Halloween night. The murders keep on happening on different holidays.
Different holidays. Okay.
But they call it the Long Halloween because it's like Halloween never ended. That was the final Easter egg that I tried to explain in around 5 minutes.
So most probably there are more Easter eggs.
There are a lot more Easter eggs. There are a lot more references, a lot more theories, fan theories, but we can't get through them all.
Exactly. We can't do all of that.
We gave you the best that we could find.
Yeah, I think that would be it for this video. Next video, we're going to talk about just the future of Batman and our predictions, basically our opinions on how Batman is going to become.
Yeah. So please stay tuned for part 6.